So let's start by adding the shadows, and we can do two things. We can start with the darkest shadow, or we can start with the lightest value. If we start with the lightest value and we give it a gray value, let's say we give a light gray value for this shape, alright? And this would be the lightest of our shapes. And we have other shapes which will be darker, alright? And till we will have a very dark shape, alright? And for this shape, for sure, we will use a basic pencil. Alright? The thing is that if you start with the lightest value and you give a gray value for the lightest value, for the lightest part of the object, it can happen that the darkest value will not be enough for the darkest part of your object. So it's better to start with the darkest parts of the object. Yes, we start with the darkest part of the object and we give a nice gray value to it, and we go further for the next shape, which will be less dark. The next shape will be less dark than the previous one, and the next shape will be less dark than the previous one. And soon enough we will get to the white, and which means that our values will not be enough. Which means that we will start going back to the darkest value, and we will start to darken a little bit. Then we will darken the other value, we will darken the other value, and we will darken the other value. And then we will have a light value for the white part. Alright? And we will be able to make another value. Right? All the time when you have this problem that your lightest value will not be enough for your pencil, you can go back to the darkest value and you can give a little bit more darkness to it, and you will go down and you will give a little bit darker here, you will give a little bit darker there, a little bit darker there, and a little bit darker there, and then you will have a light value for this. Yes, this is much more precise and much more better than this, because you can it can happen that here your darkest pencil will not be enough for your shadows, but here your shadows will be built up in a few layers, and all the time you will be capable to give more shadow, more darker value for your shadow, and you will be able to give more and more lighter values for your middle tones and light. So from working from dark to light, yes, it's better than working from light to dark. Yes, because here you will give for the darker part, you will give a light value. And that value will be possible to be darkened all the time. But if you give a light value for the light value, a gray value, it could happen that the darkest value will not be enough for your darkest part of your object. So I hope that this was understandable for you. And if you have any questions about it, if you didn't understood totally, please let me know and I will make another explanation. I hope that it's good, but if it's not, please let me know, okay? And first thing I want to start with the drawing. I will start with a really light value for the darkest part of the drawing, which means that I will start to build up these parts which have darkest value, like shadows beneath the eyelids, beneath the eye here, beneath the eyelid here, and this part, alright? And also I need to be careful because this object is from plaster and mainly it has a white color, white value, it has a white color, and the overall value of the object is light, and as you can see the background is black. So if I want to work like this object would be from plaster on my drawing, I need to be careful with the values which I will use, so I don't darken too much because it needs to have the sense of white plaster. So that's a good thing to remember all the time, alright? Another thing is pretty good if you have, let's see, we have this shadow here and we want to start that shadow. I hope that it will be visible with my pencil. I try to draw the shape of the shadow which is there, alright? And I use just a light touch of my pencil. Let me see, it's visible on the video. I hope that it will be visible. Yes. And I start with my pencil and I start to give a light value to that shape. Alright? I will not work fast, I will work slower, so that my drawing will be, my cross-hatching will be pretty invisible, but I will not work like a photographic style, so I will have some lines visible. Alright, we can do a nice gray here also, because all this part will be in shadow. So let's go further. Alright, so let's see this shape. I need to clear a little bit the line so you don't have that ugly line. and we start the light value. Right, we will have a nice shadow line here also. This format, it's a little bit more for this kind of drawing, so you would need a little bit bigger paper, at least A3. As you can see, I work the whole composition at the same time. So I don't work just a part of the drawing. Working the full drawing at the same time gives a little bit more unity to your work. Making the shadow beneath the eyelid. Right, this part has also a little bit more shadow. Right, this part is a bit darker. Right, so we'll have a little bit shadow on the iris. Right, we'll have some shadow here in the corner. Right, And we have a cast shadow under the upper eyelid, which is a little bit more intense. Cast shadows tends to be darker than the other shadows. Yes. And as I told, I just give a nice gray, so I don't darken too much. Huh? And I am aware about the edges. Right. Okay. This part here, it's also in shadow. We have a nice shadow beneath the upper eyelid, lower eyelid, sorry. Right? And this is just the sketch of the uh, shadows. They aren't too defined, so alright, we can go a little bit darker in this part. Right? And just blocking out the main shadows, so I'm not going to enter in details now. We will have some cast shadow here also, which will have this nice shape. Right? This will be a little bit darker also. Right? Okay. So this is the first step of the shadowing process. Just blocking out the main shadows. Not making any details. Right? Right? Okay. This line will not be visible, so I erase it. It's just a construction line, but it will not be visible. As you can see, there are edges there, they aren't lines, so I just take out those lines. Okay. So let's go further with this drawing, and till now we have been making the most important shadows, and we had given just a simple gray value to them, right? And now we will start to develop, and as I said before, I will start with the darkest part, and the darkest part, it seems to me that it's here and on beneath the eyelid and here. So I will start to work on this a little bit more defined. Alright, I'm using my pencil a little bit more precisely. So you saw that till now I have used my pencil like this, and when I want to make some precise lines, I start to have the pencil another way. Alright, same thing happens here. It will take some time, so you need to have patience for this. Right. When you're doing this kind of studies, it's good if you can use another paper and you can put it beneath your hand like this, so you don't mess up your drawing. Right, let's go here, start to develop this part. As you can see, I use a really fine cross-hatching. Right. Okay. We will see that here we have a nice bone slide all the way down. Here on the edge we have a bone slide. Alright. We need to get rid of lines, so I will use my eraser to get rid of the lines, because there aren't lines, there are values, right? We are working on this shadow also. We told that it's pretty dark. Alright. We need to remember that we have a bounce light on this edge here. If you are looking from closely. And it's pretty hard to give back those kind of lights if you have a small paper. That's why I tend to tell that bigger paper is better. Here we need to take care of the line, so the line won't be visible, right? So it's just a value change, it's not a line, it's not a contour, right? It's a long way to go, so we have here a darker value which has this shape, so we are going to darken it a little bit. Alright. Then we have darker here, which is less dark than here, so we need to go and start detailing there. Right. I'm barely pushing my HB pencil, so this part will be darker here, since the foam goes over there. Also we need to be careful here. We have a bounce light, which means that we will have a nice edge value, which will be a little bit less dark. Right? The edge is a little bit more prominent here. And as you can see, I use a pretty good pencil, so I have a nice peak. Right? We will have, after this, the next value is this one and this one. Right? If we are going down on our value, so we start detailing here, darkening, and if you are using your pencil with a good edge, you can make a good quality of cross-hatching. Right? I'm not darkening the same like there, because it's a little bit lighter than there. It's very important that your values are the same and they don't have bumps, irregular forms. Right? Right, you see, we start to have a nice shape beneath. And as you can see, I use just the HB pencil for the first pass, because we have a white object, so I'm not going to rush with a darker pencil. Right? Here we will have a nice transition. Right? This part will be all gray and we will have some light here. So we have a lot to work on this part. I'm not making the video time-lapse because people tend to believe that these kind of drawings are made very easily and are made very quickly because of 5 minutes time-lapse means that you are working fast, but that's not true. A time-lapse most of the time has a pretty quick high speed and doesn't show you that you are working on a piece for hours. This piece, as I was beginner, would take me about 8-9 hours, and for sure it was made better than now because I don't put too much time on this. It's just a demo, so I try to give you some sort of information without spending too much time, because if I spend too much time on the video, people tend to have discouragement, and they think that if it takes so much time, then why to do it. But the thing is that you need to do it just once or twice. If you are doing the same eye in a few from a few angles, you will learn enormous value, and you don't need to redo it again. Only if you are doing it for a student or for someone as a demo. These kind of lessons are once learned, they won't be forgotten. Right? Let's see. After this value comes the next one from here and from here. It seems to me that this value is between this one and this one, so we need to work on this part also. As you can see here, I have didn't put paper there, and I smudged the drawing, so you need to be careful where you put your hands. Right? I won't get these details just on the end of the drawing, so I'm not going to make them now. It's not their time. I will take my F pencil, which is lighter than my HB, and I will try to make the transitions, which needs to be very, very fine. As you can see, my pencil is very sharpened, so I use fine lines. Right.